Hello and welcome to tutorial 82 in this series of tutorials and programs that focus on TradeStation Easy Language. In today's tutorial I want to cover the difference between using the following syntax where we say condition 1 equals value 1 equals 1. In other words, condition 1 becomes true if value 1 is equal to 1, and if value 1 is not equal to 1, then condition 1 is false. And then the similar but quite different statement, if value 1 equals 1, then condition 1 is true. Now on the face of it they look very similar, but they are different and then can be used in different circumstances. So what I'm going to do is create a little simple program and show you how these two statements differ. Okay, so here is the program, and what we've done is we're using the TradeStation pivot function. We're looking for pivots of lows. We're looking back 5 bars. We're looking for a left strength of 4 and a right strength of 4. Now, incidentally, people are often asking me, well, what does that mean? Well, it means that you've got 4 bars above the low of those 4 bars, or above the low of the pivot bar on either side in this case. The first one being the left strength, the second one being the right strength. 1 means we're looking for the most recent instance of a pivot. -1 means we're looking for a low pivot. And then this function actually returns 3 values. It returns a value of 1 into, in this case, value 1 if a pivot is found. It will also return the price of the pivot and the bar of the pivot. In other words, how many bars ago that pivot occurred. So what I've done initially is said if value 1 equals 1, in other words, we've just found a pivot, then plot 1L. So I'm just going to verify this program. Okay, so we've created a plot when value 1 is equal to 1. In other words, when we find a pivot. So I'm going to press F3 or click the little green tick. And if we go to the chart now, you'll see that we've got the pivots being indicated. Now notice that they occur so many bars after the actual pivot. So we need to do a couple of things here. We need to tell the plot to plot earlier by the right strength, and we also need the right strength of the value. So let's go back, and we should see those pivots in the correct places on the chart, and we do. Okay, so what I want to do now is set up a little condition and say condition 1 is equal to true, or rather condition 1 becomes true when value 1 equals 1. In other words, if value 1 is equal to 1, then condition 1 is true. If value 1 is not equal to 1, then condition 1 is false. And now we're going to go if condition 1, then plot 2 low. Plot a little dot at the low when condition 1 is true. So I'm going to press F3 again, and what we should now see is a little dot appearing after the pivot. Now you can't really see them because the color is not showing against the background. So what I'm going to do is just quickly click on our tutorial. I'm just going to click format, and I'm going to change the plot 2 color from the sort of blue color to white, just so that you can see. And now you can see that every time a pivot is confirmed, in other words, condition 1 becomes true, then we draw the dot. Now what I want to also show you is a similar, but actually quite different. And that would be to say if value 1 equals 1, then condition 1 equals true. I'm going to leave the plot statement exactly the same, and what we're saying now is when condition 1 becomes equal to 1, then we set condition 1 to true. And if we look at the chart now, having verified the program, you'll notice that every single bar after the first pivot is confirmed has a dot, and the reason for that is that we set condition 1 to be equal to be true here, and then there is nothing in the program to turn it off for the rest of the bars that it's applied to. So you might use something like this, for example, when you wanted to set something to be true and then set a counter for it to be true for a certain number of bars after you've initially set it to true, and then set it to false, and so on. Anyway, hopefully this has been of some use to you. Thank you.